mistake isn't what Leo Jimenez failed to do. It's what the clock did to him. The news is out. They submitted their 26-man opening day roster, and buried in the paperwork is the name that jumps off the page. Designated for assignment. DFA. In practical terms, the organization looked at a 24-year-old who was once a top 5 prospect in the system and said, "We don't have space for you anymore." It's blunt, it's harsh, but it's the reality of a team that has stopped experimenting with player development at the major league level. The issue here is purely contractual. Jimenez ran out of minor league options. That safety net, sending him to Buffalo and bringing him back, is gone. It was either keep him on the 26-man roster or expose him to the league through waivers. And the 2026 Blue Jays, a team coming off an American League pennant, can't afford to burn a roster spot on potential that isn't producing. You look at the numbers, and they don't add up. Between 2024 and 2025, he posted a .207 batting average. Last year, a desert. He hit .069 in 32 plate appearances, with a -0.3 FWAR. When you sit down and decide who makes the bench on a World Series or bust team, those numbers weigh like lead. But almost no one talks about the emotional risk of losing an asset like this for nothing. Jimenez has been on the 40-man roster since 2021. Time, training, rehab, all invested. And now, he could easily end up suiting up in Miami or Oakland and become a solid starter, just like did. That's the nightmare every front office fears. Selling low. But hold on, because there's a detail here that changes everything. The real comparison isn't Jimenez versus his past. It's Jimenez versus. And let's be honest, that was never a fair fight. Schneider, since his call-up in 2023, has proven his bat belongs in MLB. Last year, he posted a 127 WRC+, meaning he produced 27% above league average from the bench. That's a luxury. He plays second, third, left field. He brings flexibility. And most importantly, he brings danger at the plate. Jimenez brought a glove that, by the numbers, posted -2 defensive runs saved. If he's not hitting and the defense is elite, he becomes a passenger. And with a 3-time Gold Glove anchoring shortstop and at second base, the insurance Leo provided became redundant. Then comes a detail most people overlook: the extra arm. The front office chose to keep a Rule 5 draft pick. If he doesn't stay on the roster, he has to be offered back to the Giants. Miles had a strange spring training, a 3.72 ERA paired with a 1.65 whip that raises eyebrows. Too many base runners. But his ceiling, that upside, is what caught the coaching staff's attention. The bullpen was painfully average last season, 15th in the league. They needed a potential late-game weapon, and Miles is that gamble. Between a reserve infielder who doesn't hit and a pitcher who might become a weapon, Toronto chose a risk on the mound. But what if the problem wasn't just his performance? Look at what happened this spring training. Remember that name. The kid absolutely raked. A 127 WRC+, more walks and strikeouts, stealing bases. He leapfrogged Jimenez in the internal hierarchy in a matter of weeks. Once the organization realizes it has a younger, cheaper option with roster flexibility, Jimenez becomes a puzzle piece that no longer fits. The feeling is that the Jays are operating with surgical precision. They lost in free agency, brought in for third base, and reshuffled the board. This team is built to win now. There's no room for maybe he improves. Jimenez went 0-for-5 for Panama. He hit .231 this spring without a single extra base hit. The body of evidence kept stacking up until it became impossible to ignore. Now comes the waiting game. Toronto will likely try to trade him for a lower-level prospect in the coming days. If no one bites, he'll hit waivers. And it wouldn't be surprising if he gets claimed quickly at 24. With his prospect pedigree, there will always be a rebuilding team convinced it can fix what Toronto gave up on. In the end, the decision on Leo Jimenez reflects exactly what the Blue Jays are today. It's not about whether he can help someday. It's about whether he can help now, this Friday on opening day. The answer, as painful as it is for those who followed his development, is a resounding no. Toronto chose immediate impact. Toronto chose the power of the bat. Toronto chose the present. Now the question is whether, 2 years from now, we'll be watching a game against the Marlins and seeing Jimenez in the starting lineup, wondering what could have been. But elite baseball isn't built on what-ifs. It's built on who puts the ball in play. And Leo, unfortunately, stopped doing that. What do you think? Is it a mistake to lose a 24-year-old asset for nothing? Or had his time in Toronto already run its course? See you in the next report.